10-year-old Emma Rodriguez rolled her wheelchair onto the prestigious stage of New York's American Ballet Theater, and the 2,000 people in the audience fell into complete silence. It was a cold December night in 1995, and Emma had the chance to fulfill the biggest dream of her life. But before she took the stage, the words that artistic director Victoria Harrington had said to her still echoed in her ears. "This is a dance performance, not a therapy session for the disabled." Tears were welling up in Emma's eyes, but she had no intention of giving up, because in the audience sat the only person who believed in her, Patrick Swayze. This isn't just the story of a girl's struggle to dance. This is the story of one of Hollywood's biggest stars challenging one of the art world's most ruthless institutions to defend a child's dreams. And this struggle would change the dance world forever. Emma Rodriguez's story began 2 years earlier, in 1993, with a tragic car accident. She was 8 years old then, and studying at one of New York's most prestigious ballet schools. "This child is a prodigy," her teacher, Madame Volkov, would say. "Such natural talent is rarely seen." Emma had music in her feet. Every movement was perfect. Every step was poetry. She was seen as the future prima ballerina at American Ballet Theater. October 23rd, 1993. Emma's life changed forever. On a weekend trip returning from Connecticut with her family, a drunk driver crashed into their car. Emma's spinal cord was damaged. When doctors at St. Mary's Hospital spoke with the family, their words destroyed Emma's world. She will never walk again. But Emma didn't give up. She began learning to dance from her wheelchair. Her mother, Consuela Rodriguez, was amazed by her daughter's determination. "Mommy, I can still dance," Emma had said from her hospital bed. "Even if my legs don't move, my heart still beats with music." For 18 months, Emma worked with Lisa Chen, a physiotherapist and dance instructor who specialized in developing new techniques for disabled dancers. Lisa was a pioneer in her field. "There's something special about Emma," Lisa had told Consuela. "She's not only talented, she's never lost her dance spirit." By the summer of 1995, Emma was giving incredible performances from her wheelchair. As her arms gracefully soared through the air, her chair had become her partner. But her real dream was to perform on the big stages. She applied to American Ballet Theater's annual Young Stars program. Victoria Harrington was the artistic director of American Ballet Theater. She had trained thousands of dancers in her 30-year career, but she was also a traditionalist, a woman with rigid rules. When she watched Emma's audition video, her reaction was cold. "This isn't dance," she had told her assistant. "This is something else. Ballet is an art form, not an activity for disabled people." She rejected the application. But Emma's story had reached the local media. A small news story appeared in the New York Times. "Young wheelchair dancer rejected." One of the people who read this story was Patrick Swayze. Patrick had just established his own dance studio at that time. He was bringing dance education, his mother's legacy, to students from different backgrounds. When he read Emma's story, he was furious. "This is injustice," he told his wife Lisa. "This girl deserves her chance." Patrick wanted to see Emma's dance videos. Consuela came to Patrick's studio with hope. Patrick, watching Emma's performance, was mesmerized. "This is incredible," he murmured. "This isn't just technique, this is art." When Patrick met Emma, he saw the fire in her eyes. "Tell me about your dream," Patrick said. "I want to dance on the big stages," Emma said, her voice trembling. "I want people to see that being disabled can't stop my dance." Patrick made a decision. He called American Ballet Theater and requested a meeting with Victoria Harrington. But Harrington didn't take Patrick seriously, despite his fame. "Mr. Swayze, you're a movie star. We are an art institution. Our standards are different." "What standards?" Patrick asked, his voice hardening. "Standards of rejecting talent?" "Mr. Swayze, ballet is a very specific discipline. Disability prevents meeting the requirements of this discipline." After that conversation, Patrick made a bigger plan. He reached out to American Ballet Theater's board of directors, spoke to sponsors, made statements to the media. Art should be inclusive, not exclusive, he said at his press conference. Emma Rodriguez is an artist. She deserves her chance. Under pressure from the press, Victoria Harrington was cornered. Finally, she agreed to give Emma a chance, but she had conditions. Single performance, one chance. If she fails, this ends. When Emma's performance day arrived, American Ballet Theater was packed. In the audience were dance critics, art patrons, and hundreds of people supporting Emma. Patrick was also sitting in the front row. Backstage, Victoria Harrington looked at Emma coldly. "Remember, this is a professional stage, not a therapy session. You have 15 minutes to prove yourself." When Emma took the stage, 2,000 people held their breath. Chopin's Waltz in A-flat major began to play. Emma's first movement was so graceful, so beautiful, that a gasp rose from the hall. For 15 minutes, Emma performed a perfect dance with her chair. Every movement told a story: love, loss, hope, rebirth. The audience was crying. Patrick had tears in his eyes. When the performance ended, the hall gave a standing ovation. The applause lasted 5 minutes, but Victoria Harrington's face was still cold. When Emma came backstage, Victoria approached her. "Impressive display," she said coldly, "but this is not ballet. This is something else. Ballet requires specific traditional form." Patrick stood up. His patience was finally exhausted. "Victoria, you're wrong. Emma just showed us what real art looks like. Mr. Swayze, you don't understand our world. This is ballet, not contemporary dance, not wheelchair performance. Ballet." Patrick's voice hardened. "I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. My mother, Patsy, taught me that dance is about expressing human spirit. Emma just did that better than anyone I've seen in years." Victoria laughed. "Your mother taught small-town Texas students. This is Lincoln Center." At that moment, Patrick's patience was completely exhausted. "My mother taught me something else, too," he said, authority in his voice. "She taught me to recognize real talent and to fight for it." Patrick took the stage, grabbed the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said to the audience, "tonight you witnessed something extraordinary. Emma Rodriguez just redefined what ballet can be." The audience began applauding again. Patrick continued. "But some people in this institution think tradition is more important than talent. They think rules matter more than art." Victoria Harrington tried to come on stage, but Patrick continued. "Emma Rodriguez deserves to be here. She deserves to dance. And if American Ballet Theater can't see that, then maybe it's time for a new kind of ballet company." The next day, Patrick's words were being discussed throughout the art world. The New York Times, Washington Post, all major newspapers picked up the story. Headlines read, "Patrick Swayze challenges ballet elite." As a result of press pressure, the American Ballet Theater Board had to meet. Patrick also attended the board meeting. "Emma Rodriguez represents the future of dance," he told board members. "Accept her or lose relevance." 3 days later, the announcement came. Emma Rodriguez would be American Ballet Theater's first adaptive dance artist in residence. Victoria Harrington resigned from her position. Patrick established a special program for Emma, Movement Without Limits. This program provided professional training for disabled dancers. 50 students enrolled in the first year. Emma's story was just the beginning. Her success opened doors for disabled dancers. Juilliard School, Royal Ballet, Paris Opera Ballet, all established adaptive dance programs. In 2003, Emma became the first disabled dancer to perform solo at Carnegie Hall. Patrick was there, of course, in the front row, watching with tears. Emma is now 28 years old and a world-renowned dancer. She has her own dance company called Infinite Motion and performs in 15 countries. Before every performance, she remembers Patrick's words from that night. "Dance is about expressing human spirit." When Patrick Swayze died in 2009, Emma danced at his funeral. "He didn't just change my life," Emma said in her eulogy. He changed the entire dance world. He taught us that inclusion makes art stronger, not weaker. A small plaque now hangs at Lincoln Center. In honor of Patrick, Swayze, and Emma Rodriguez, who taught us that art has no limitations. Emma's performance that night is taught in dance history classes. The Movement Without Limits Foundation now operates in 23 countries and has trained more than 4,000 disabled dancers. The program is studied as a therapeutic arts case study at Harvard Medical School. Emma's story teaches us that sometimes the greatest revolution comes not from changing the rules, but from showing that the rules were wrong to begin with. Patrick Swayze didn't just help a girl dance that night. He taught the entire art world the lesson that true art has no boundaries. And Emma Rodriguez, every time she dances, remembers Patrick's words. Dance is about expressing human spirit. She continues to keep this spirit alive, proving in every performance that limitation exists only in our minds, not in our hearts. Sometimes the greatest victory is making possible what everyone said was impossible. Emma did that. Patrick gave her that opportunity, and together they changed the dance world forever. The story of that night reminds us that true heroism isn't always about the roles we play on screen. Sometimes it's about the moment we stop performing and start seeing the people who need someone to believe in them. Patrick Swayze could have enjoyed his evening at the theater and walked away. Nobody would have blamed him for staying out of a complicated situation that wasn't his responsibility. Instead, he saw a talented child being dismissed by prejudice, and he made a choice that cost him nothing but time and meant everything to one girl who had been told her dreams were impossible. Emma Rodriguez went on to prove that impossible was just another word for something nobody had figured out how to do yet. Her performances have now been seen by millions of people worldwide. Her technique has been studied by dance scholars. Her foundation has changed thousands of lives. But if you ask Emma about her proudest moment, she'll tell you about the night Patrick Swayze stood on a stage at Lincoln Center and told 2,000 people that art has no boundaries. The night someone finally saw her talent instead of her wheelchair. The night someone with a voice decided to use it for someone who needed an advocate. That night, Patrick didn't just defend one girl's right to dance. He challenged an entire institution to examine its assumptions about what art could be and who deserved to create it. He proved that sometimes the most powerful thing a celebrity can do is simply recognize the humanity in someone the world has decided to overlook. Emma Rodriguez still dances. She still teaches. She still fights for other artists who are told they don't fit the traditional mold. And every time she takes a stage, she carries with her the lesson Patrick Swayze taught that December night in 1995, that true artistry transcends physical limitations, social expectations, and institutional barriers. If this incredible story of standing up for dreams moved you, remember that we all have the power to be someone's Patrick Swayze. We all encounter moments when we can choose to see talent instead of limitation, possibility instead of problems, potential instead of prejudice. Have you ever witnessed someone use their influence to lift up someone who needed an advocate? Share your story in the comments below.